welcome everybody
Happy
to
1st.
September 1st. Welcome everyone to the morning Ascension gathering. We are the First Contact Ground Crew team. And we love you. My name's Buddha.
I'm Jerry Pie. And that's Gabby coughing in the background.
And we welcome, he really wants to get on camera.
Yeah.
Feel it. He's been doing so well. We welcome you to 5D Full Disclosure. Thank you so much. Heaven on earth. We all play a part. Yeah.
Are you ready?
Are
Humanity?
you ready? Hope's ready. Come on.
The storm is coming.
The storm is here, it feels like.
Right.
But
Okay, the storm is here.
If you go outside,
Metaphorically.
you could feel it.
The storm is here.
You could smell it.
Metaphorically. Because it's not the storm is upon us. The storm is here. What does that mean? You're going to be tumbled here, there, everywhere. And it is rocky. And there's going to be things that you're going to do, say, and think that's really dark. Like really, really dark. To the point that you never even knew that shit was in you. And you will be shocked to the point where your ego gets a big kick in the ass. Kick, big. No.
Yeah, it's like if you've been holding off, if you've been really stubborn, which we know you are, because most of us are pretty stubborn. You wouldn't have made it this far if you weren't. There's going to be some major events, and you have to be ready for that. They could be catastrophic. They can seem like hitting you out of left field, completely changing your environment. So it's embracing those changes now and being like, okay, cool, what's next? Okay, oh shit's falling apart over there. I just lost a loved one over here. I just broke up with someone over here. Like your world is falling apart because it needs to. That's the only way you're going to pave the way for the new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that stubbornness is part of the ego program. It's part of that sabotage where it wants to keep you in your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. And Mom, God, Prime Source Creator, was here on the planet since 1975 in her last incarnation. And she recently... Did I say 1975? Yeah, I said 1975 because that was the year she was born. And she recently ascended this year. Her mission and the stories she tells through all of her precise documentation on our YouTube channel, 5D Full Disclosure, with years and years of emails as well as journals that we have, pave the way to how it's going to go. All of her precise documentation. Interesting. So we can see she gives us clues. She got everything taken away from her more than 5 times on her 14-year mission.
I mean, it was a constant theme.
Every day.
Yeah, every time we went out to the store, let's just say she wanted a particular brand of anything, and literally we go in, and that whole brand would be sold out. The last one. I remember one time we went in, I forgot if it was for some juice or something. He's like, yeah, the clerk was like, we had 3 left, and some guy just came in and bought them all.
Right.
Like, that was the constant theme God had to face day in and day out. Why? Because everything is against love in the program. The ego program mind is edging God out. So unconsciously, whether you knew it or not, whether that guy knew or not that he was buying those last 3 brands of orange juice, he didn't know because it was that unconsciousness working through him. It desired not one, but the last 3 that were there. And in return, it's a reflection for God being screwed day in and day out, which is a true reflection of the macro, this planet being raped and pillaged every single day.
Well, how does that translate to you personally? Well,
you're about to be raped and pillaged, bitch. Oh! She always
in a calling it out a spade way, yes.
Right.
And in a more kind of elaborate, maybe a little bit
more detail. I can elaborate more on that.
It's basically, we have attachments, and it's part of the ego program. Attachment is insidious in all of the things that we do. You can just look around you and see just how attached you are to things and people.
Mm-hmm.
Attachment creates conditional love. That is not part of heaven. And so either you choose to let go of those attachments through the spiritual disciplines, or it gets taken away from you. Because that is the evolution. That is the flip. That is coming from the shadow to the gift to the mastery. Unless you master 3D, you are really not in a position to master 5D.
And so, how do you maneuver through this chaos? I'm going to tell you right now, the ego program mind wants to make this the most difficult circumstance in your life. It wants to make you feel like you're in hell. Okay? So how do you get through it? What is the easiest way to maneuver and navigate yourself through this? You accept full responsibility and you surrender. Now, this is completely counterintuitive to the ego program mind. The ego program mind does not want to take any responsibility. In fact, it wants to put blame on every single external situation it can. Well, you did this, and you owe me that, and I've done all this. Where's my stuff? And it's just this spin that it wants to keep you in. It wants to pull you into this chaos, and it wants you to identify it as if it's who you really are. When in reality, you can now, through your mastery, through your divine non-attachment, you can laugh at yourself. You can say, you know what? That was fucked up. And yes, I did do it, but that's not who I am. Mm-hmm. But you see how now, by taking the responsibility, not running away, not making excuses, just looking at it, does it feel nice? No, it feels like shit. It feels ugly. But you have to go into it. You have to feel into it in order to dissolve it. In order to fully come out of it, you have to break down to break through. And so, humanity is constantly being bombarded right now with these tests. Some little, some larger, some multiple of little ones to equal a much larger one. I know for the team, it takes a lot of several little things to finally set us off and trigger us, at least for me. And that's what's going to be reflected now to humanity as they continue their awakening process and realizing that, it's not all peaches and cream. It's not all rainbow bright and ice cream cones. It's definitely some ugly stuff we all have to look at. There is a dark side that is coming out of you that needs to come into balance. Mm-hmm. No one's right, no one's wrong. In fact, they both serve the light. So as you recognize that they both serve the light, you find that inner balance.
And good luck to you, because the ego is... No, the ego is so tricky. It will want you to take it personally. It will rehash that fucking story.
It will pinpoint every instant to
try
to make its case. Oh, you remember that one time that she did that, or that one time that they did that and they never did that. They never washed the dishes. It's just these little things that it wants you to hold on to build a case to convince you that fear is the way.
And that you are totally unworthy of being divine. So you got to have some awareness around all of those things. And that is how Mom had trained us. She trained us about dysfunction. She pointed every single thing out when it was appropriate, with compassion and love. And then she would tell us to move along. Be divine. She only saw our higher selves. She saw the program. And with these upgrades in your DNA, there's going to come a point where you're going to feel a separation between your identities, the AI part of you that doesn't belong inside your vessel or your mind, your brain, and your essence. There are many of you who are asking, what is my purpose here? I know the Grand Awakening is happening, but who am I? I, not as in the ego, but I as the divine embodiment of your higher self. That cannot be fathomed with your linear ego mind. Mm-hmm. It has been overshadowed. We can't fathom. We don't know what that looks like. That is why we know that we must jump into the unknown.
And I'll tell you right now, the light worker community is definitely bypassing the spiritual ego, the super ego. It's not being addressed because they're in that. You see, they have to understand that as you go about your awakening process, the ego's already a few steps ahead of you. Okay, it already understands that this is the natural evolutionary process, so it's going to hijack it. It's going to insert itself any which way it can and convince you you're actually doing something, that you actually have figured it out. When in reality, if you hear it, we don't know shit. All we know is that what matters most is the present moment of now. The minute you begin to attach to anything you think you know, to a particular timeline, a particular way, outcome of how things should be, boom, it got you right where it wants you. And that's the majority of the spiritual light worker community is stuck in it. They don't see it. It's become a competition now. It's like there's one light worker, all these beautiful messages, sharing them. She's like, I remember at one point she was putting please share, please share. Up until recently, she added a paragraph at the bottom of the thing, copyright 2021, all rights reserved. No sharing, it's exclusive to this website, like basically putting a hindrance on true reality, which is this expression, right? She has beautiful messages that I would love to share on our website, but now she's just like, no, do not share this anymore. What? Okay, cool. That's your bad. Like, we move on, we keep going. Mm-hmm. Mom never sat and gave a second look to these trolls. Yeah, she dealt with it what she needed to in those present moments, but she was on to the next page, the next chapter, the next lane. She's just like, move out my way, I'm gone.
Yep. And there's still too much externalization. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, I've always meditated this way. Well, guess what? That meditation ain't going to work in these energies. No more. It has to evolve. You can't be doing the satsanas, viparassanas, at all anymore, because that is not how Source works. Yes, they are ancient wisdoms. Yes, prana is the breath of life. Yes, you breathe this way. But is it working for you? Are you cutting cords with those thoughts? Are you actually at peace in your heart? Mm. Because I know that sitting for half an hour, sitting in meditation, is not working for any of you. Mm-mm. That's a fact. Because we must move along from externalizing what peace looks like. Mm-hmm. Peace, meditation, is in movement. There is a lot going on in silence. But through love and action, you correct the energetics within you. You come to a balance of balanced harmonics. You are focused so sharply in that task when you are fully aware of what is going on. That is meditation. Meditation is a way of being. Mom was meditation.
Yeah, you don't put meditation in a box. You don't schedule it out and sit down for a half an hour and be like, that's my meditation. That's what I'm doing. Is it a beginning point? Is it a place to start and really be like, okay, I get it. Here's some structure. Here's some discipline. Let me at least do this to get me out of my shit. Yes, of course. But at the end of the day, you begin to recognize that every movement, every breath, every time you're doing any service is a meditation. And that's an expansion, right? It's getting out of the box and getting into the organic nature of how all this works. Has there been structure set in place for us to help us along the way? Yes, of course. But Mom has always been organic. Mm-hmm. She's like, well, Mom, how do you do this? She's like, well, ask your angels.
Right.
How would you do it? She's like completely empowering you in every moment. Mm-hmm. She's not telling you that you need to read this book and follow these instruction manuals in order to do this. No, she's like, here is some guidelines. Here are some different ways that I've done it, that other masters have done it. Now do it your way. Document it. Share it.
Absolutely. and it's like, are you working on your ego as a guidance of what you're going to do next, or are you asking your angels what you're going to do next?
Mm-hmm.
It might be that the angels want you to meditate at lunchtime. When I am like in my head, and often, most times, I am. I will do 3 things at once. And it's scattered. It is scattered. It is whirlwind this morning. I'm helping Buddha set up the backdrop.
Oh, let's go there.
I'm holding a necklace, my phone, and I need a poo.
Oh, so, and I can feel all of that, okay? I'm like, okay, I got my hands laying. I'm like, and then she's like dropping stuff.
No, I wasn't.
You could have,
yeah.
But you're like, you knew right away. And I'm like, and then she's like, why are you giving me that look? And I'm like, because I've done that. And I know when I do that, it's screwed. Because, first of all, you can't grab anything because your hands are full. So then you're like, this is the worst one for me. I'll tuck it under my armpit, whatever else I'm holding, and then try to do what I'm doing.
Right.
But then you got to kind of lift your arm up, and then whatever you tucked under your armpit drops. I can't tell you how many times I've gone into that. So it's, when you see it, you're like, don't do that. Let it go.
And then it has this ripple effect of how stream is going to be. If you were trained with that precision and energetics, you know how dysfunctional that one moment was. So I am transforming for a very large chunk of the fucking collective this busybody of doing.
Because she's an energetic match, so there's no bypass.
That's my shit.
Yep.
I own it every single time because it needs to dissolve. It needs to end 100%. It will today, now, in this present moment. So it is. And so the more it comes up, the more you're aware. That's just dumb. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I wanted to share some comments. Darcy says, yes, everything definitely feels like a shit show. Falling apart left and right at the moment. Everyone hang on. Love you. Kat says, and when you have awareness, some days you're like, oh crap, there's another attachment. And another one. Awareness transforms. Absolutely. Don't beat yourself up. Mm-hmm. Amber says, ego sure tries to rip you a new one with guilt and fear. Massive. Massive, massive, massive. Guilt for me, being away from my children every day. Mm-hmm. Transform. Do a ceremony. 7 stages of grief. Taryn says, I feel you, Jerry. I love you. Oh, okay. Of course, Kat would be laughing her ass off, holding something in hands, underarms, under the chin, trying to do more. We all know that, I feel. Well, I used to call myself the bag lady. 3 young kids walking out the door, full of shit, crap, backpack, lunch, some toy. You're dragging shit. Things are falling off. I mean, that is a recipe for disaster. If you are not centered before you start that car and pray the fuck that you're going to make it safe to the next destination, you're going to create an accident because that energy...
And since we're hammering Jerry, let's just nail it in because at this point, just kidding.
No, go.
Okay, she cannot sit down and eat a meal for more than 30 seconds before she grabs her phone or is on to the next task, already saying, hey, we should be doing this, and how about this, and how about that? I'm like, dude, take a breather. In fact, take a deep breath and enjoy your meal. I'm like, by you taking these 10 minutes to avoid eating your meal, what are you getting ahead of? You're not getting ahead of anything. In fact, you're causing more of a clusterfuck, right? A traffic jam. Because now you want to do more, but you're still hungry. You haven't fully nourished yourself. The whole team's eating, but not Jerry. She's like, well, I got to send this one last thing, and I got to do this, and I got to do that. I'm done eating my meal at this point. Most of the table's been cleared up, and now she wants to eat. And it's there's a flow.
Okay, can I just... Yeah, I take full accountability, but I'm not the only one who does that, okay?
Okay.
Secondly, Mary! Let's give Mary a shout out. Mary will cook this beautiful meal. Everybody, fam, meal's ready. Where's Mary?
She's gone.
Somewhere else, not in Unity. And she's like, I love you all, out.
And here's a perfect example of deflection. You see that? It's so sophisticated.
Oh,
it wants to bring
shit.
everyone else in.
Okay.
Oh, no.
My bad.
Oh, no. How about Mary? And how about Dylan? Huh?
Caught me. Oh, snap. That was good. Okay, that was good.
Come back and catch us.
Like, karma is instant. Did you see just what happened? I didn't fully surrender, accept, embrace, allow that call out. My ego wanted to bring everyone else and put them under the bus. That's what Mom says. Oh, so you want to put your brothers and sisters under the bus? Yes. That is ego. Super ego. And if you don't catch yourself deflecting that, you need to book a session. So what I could have done is like, thank you, Buddha. Thank you. I will transform.
And she did, but it was like a very like...
It's sophisticated.
It was robotic. It was like, oh yeah, I take full responsibility, but like I'm gonna go bring everyone else into this pit of hell with me. Let us all burn. It's the the classic boiling lobster scenario where
mentality.
Like, yeah,
It's
someone's
just
trying
like...
to get out. They're like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Stay in here. It's nice and warm.
Let's all die together. Oh,
if I'm
shit.
dying, you're dying. Let's go.
Oh shit! Okay, that was a good one.
And she's a good sport because I feel she.
Hope he's out of here. Dylan's out of here. They're gonna get caught in the fire.
Oh my god, that run was hilarious. That was good. I wish we could have shown that one.
Okay, should we share, Mom?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay, let's get this.
Oh, let me read Kat's thing. She says, "I learned how to sign language clusterfuck. I don't know why, but I feel it would come in handy." She's laughing her ass off. She's
Oh, actually, this rehearsed me in the RV when we used to have a lot of fights in the RV. Damn, that timeline. Wow. Anyway, we hit the point where this isn't working, guys. There's 10 of us in the small space, and we're about to kill each other every single time. And man's like, well, we gotta come up with a code name. It means if you're in your shit, I'm gonna say a word, like pineapple, to snap you out of it. Well, it never caught on, but yeah, I can see where, that could be very helpful.
Yeah, like a safe word,
Actually, Buddha and I have agreed, it's like if we're like bickering to the point where like ego's just getting a field day, both of us. It's like, hug it out. You want to hug it out? It's like, yeah, let's hug it out. And we just hug, and it's gone.
It dissolves way faster. Because of course the ego doesn't want you guys loving each other. It wants you guys fighting. It wants you bickering. It wants you to be... the ego's the grandest nitpicker. Like, you can sit here, get in your shit, and suddenly, like, I'm talking to myself, okay? Let's be clear. I'm the biggest nitpicker. I'm looking for anything and everyone to just build my case. And I'm just like, oh, and you did that, and now you're doing this. And it's just this self-inflicting, painful, like... whirlwind of just self-hatred and judgments, and I'm just like, we've gotten
punishment.
We've gotten to a point now where we know, like, we feel it. We're like, no, detached. Sometimes, obviously it takes longer than others, but there's an awareness now. So even though I may be in it, like, I'm just gonna shut up and go to the room and just be like, no, I'm gonna just keep to myself, cut my cords, write my ceremony, and I'll get my shit out of it. But to continue to be in it and then go immerse yourself in the public and be like, who else wants some of this? I'll fight any of you. It's how war starts. It's what you're seeing as you see society out there. You're seeing humanity like literally burst, like their egos imploding. And that's why you got those Karens out there. You got all these road rages out there. It's the program literally. It's malfunctioning. In your eyes, in your face. It's like right there. You're like, what? Why? These people are possessed. It goes back to this idea of possession. They're possessed by the ego program mind who has has driven them into lunacy.
Yep. So that's why it's so precious. All of the documentation that Mom has left us. Her legacy is well alive, and we are grateful for these videos. This one is from 2013. It's called Peace, Disclosure, and Contact. Again, you're going to find it in the 5D Full Disclosure YouTube channel. We'll just play like a part of it and then continue it next time.
Oh, little muffin.
The Galactic Free Press Update. Peace, disclosure, and contact. Bringing humanity home. Energy and event update. With love from the Galactic Center. Greetings, love beings. We just went through the fiery new moon of Aries. Woo! The truth of love is on fire and is spreading contagiously. The intense energies continued for April, and we are moving fast. Major shifting is also occurring, and truth is on the move. This momentum of energy will build all of this month and ignite us into May. This new moon in a fire sign is all about the new and surprises, both personally and globally. Doors are closing, and new ones are quickly opening. These next 24 hours will be incredibly intense energetically for everybody on the planet. We'll be shifting gears forward.
Oh, shit.
We have moved into such an intense period of light, it's truly over for the denser energies. Quoted from Lucy. This particular new moon that marks the start of something entirely new. The Aries moon cycle brings in an overload of new and sudden impulses, pushing the individual self into unknown territory, and the many sudden impulses are not to be taken lightly because they might even cause a big shakeup on a personal level as well. This is a time to expect the unexpected and to practice alertness as we get bombarded by much more irritation than usual. One star, the sun, plus 4 planets, are dominant in Mars' home sign, and this powerful Aries stellium is like an unstoppable force rushing recklessly towards its aim. End of quote. And quoted from the Pleiadian Renegades. The beginnings of big change are kicking into gear now. You will be aware of that as the sun starts to shine a little differently, and as the earth begins to groan in her birth pains. If you are not comfortable with such visceral imagery, think of it as repositioning of pressure to allow for a smooth transition of something quite earth-shattering to come into being, so that the generation of life can continue without the limitations of darkness pressing in on every side. Gold will lose its shimmer when you realize that the bottom of the barrel has been reached. In terms of the ability of the commercial enterprises of the global marketplace to sustain the game any longer. We have spoken to you before of the day that the game of module becomes replaced by the game of dream creation. And that day is on the edge of dawning, dear people of Earth. The pieces are falling into place just as the game board is tipping to one side. And winner takes all will be tumbling into a pit before the winnings can be interred for later enjoyment. The fact is, the time is upon you to take the initiative further than ever in spinning the checkerboard so you have a better view of what's heating up on the horizon. If you can manage it, a big push together in the direction of love of humanity in all its forms could just get things situated so you can get the full picture. The days and weeks ahead are promising to be full of the potential of great and deep change for this planet. And so it is time to share the next tidbit of information with you as well. And that is, we are already with you. And the changes that are coming will be a big shock to many. But the truth is, We are in the secret silence of service every day, and there is none more in readiness to join in the general change than we. The light will soon shift into a higher gear of intensity and concentration of form, and the appearance in the sky of fine shimmers of radiance will be side by side with great blasts of cosmic energy. We are here, and we are ready to be of service. You will see the changes coming to the earth in ways that what had been is no more, and the ground below your feet may start to move or rumble. We are here, and the changers are a part of our service. When you see things seeming to fall apart, know that we are part of the new world coming into being, as midwives and as helpers. It is enough that things will be moving along rapidly without worrying about doing it all on your own. But we are not here to interfere in the process that you have. As a people and a planetary entity, worked so long to reach the culmination of, and you have arrived at the entry point of the moment of lifetimes. We will answer any call for help that we are able to participate in, until the time comes for our full participation, opening sanctioned by general agreement among all parties involved. Until then, know that we are here. Know that life will survive, and that light will prevail in the long time of shadows and secrets. You have not come this far to be found wanting, for your circuitous route to understanding, knowledge, and discovery has brought you into the state of awareness of many more mysteries than you could have ever imagined yourselves, approaching even a short time ago. More mysteries await your discovery, and more rewarding shores shall open to your entry. Be at peace with the unfolding of the universe, for it does, in fact, know what's doing. Let fear not be a part of the equation, and let love become part of your entire picture. End of quote.
Woo! What a sing. Thank you, Mom. I just was reading the comments on Telegram. Angel says, today at 3:21 p.m., the first Palladian-Arcturian electromagnetic wave. James said, what will this wave feel like? AH. Is that a state? Is it any different than all the other energy waves we have had over the last 10 years? Pixie says, this energy is so intense my body is shaking. I thought it was just nerves, but was looking to see what energies are coming in at this time. Does anyone know more? Thank you.
Just
well,
look
Mom,
at the Schumann.
Mom just answered all of those questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the ego wants to know, what's it gonna look like? Oh my God, how do I prepare? It's gonna be nothing like, Mom's used the word earth shattering.
Mm-hmm.
God's own words. Earth shattering.
Yeah, it's definitely good practice to have a little food set aside, little water stored up. You know, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, because the world is being shaken up. Like, Mom is done. She's shaking off the fleas. She's shaking off the bloodsuckers. She's shaking off all the takers. And if you're worried, you should be, because you're probably a taker. You're probably not living to your fullest potential, and you know that. Your higher self knows that, which is why you've been drawn to these messages. You've been drawn to this team. You've been drawn to God. I mean, give yourself a pat in the back. You've made it this far, and it's just beginning. You didn't make it this far to now give up or to throw in the towel. No, you made it this far now to spread those angel wings, to get out of the cocoon you built yourself so you can truly flutter like a butterfly. You didn't come here to sit and watch and just continue to see your brothers and sisters do all the work. You didn't come to this planet with a multitude of talents, a multitude of ideas to just sit back and watch. You came here to be a full participant. Not just put your toe in and be like, oh, how's the water? Is it warm enough? Doesn't matter what temperature it's in. You're jumping in. And that's where Mom energetically is taking us to this point now where there's no slithering away. Okay? You're in a corner, and now you have every opportunity to fight. And I mean this in the most humble and loving way. You know, of course, the ego program mind wants you to go and fight to the death and take you to that lowest frequency of fear. But what does the higher look like? What does it look like to fight a spiritual warfare day in and day out? Well, it doesn't look pretty. And it looks a little something like vulnerability. Putting yourself out there. Pushing to those uncomfort zones. Like where you're like, oh, well, I've been getting pinged to do live streams, but you know what? Maybe tomorrow, or I'll do it next week after I do this. I need to get my teeth fixed. I need to lose 10 more pounds. Yada, 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 yada.
I need a new face.
I need a new face before I can go on live stream, before I can put myself out there. Call yourself out. Recognize how much of a half-ass whore, weak-ass bitch you've been. Why? Because we all have been. That's part of the breaking down to break through. Is taking responsibility for not fulfilling your spiritual contract. And being like, fuck. Damn.
Yep.
I'm in it.
Right.
How else are you going to get out of it until you recognize you were actually in it? And again, I want to emphasize the sophistication of the spiritual ego, the super ego, who is on a spiritual path and actually feels they figured it out. Ask yourself, do you feel that confidence in yourself that you can trust the ego program mind? No. No, it wants to take you down the path of separation and fear. It is that simple.
Yeah, so Kat says, use what God gave you. You're worthy of all of it. Spread your wings and fly. You're allowed to let it all go and be in joy. So a lot of these terminologies about being at peace, being in the frequency of love, da-da-da-da-da, you know it at an intellectual level. You experience it sometimes. But the subtleties of it is what Buddha was alluding to. Is like, you don't know shit. We don't know shit. But through the help of the awareness of our brothers and sisters who are on the same path as yourself, they're going to point it out. It's called the blind spot. You know, when you're driving, there's that blind spot. You can't see it. That is super ego. Mm-hmm. Super ego is still on this planet. And that means if Lulu is in super ego, everyone's in super ego, because the one person that Mom came back here for is going to transform super ego, and therefore we all have a responsibility to transform super ego. Fantasy, denial, your vision of the future, your angel guidance. Do you know that there are whore angels? They tell you good shit.
That's a big one, guys.
They'll tell you, yes, that is totally aligned. That is highest. Go for that. Then hijack. It's like, what happened? I asked my angels and they said yes. Well, fucking fire them, Mom says. They're whore.
Yeah, if you see the pattern, and this should be coming up for a lot of you now, where you've gotten guidance, or so you think it's angel guidance, but it's actually whore guidance. And I get a feeling there's a good portion of you, if not the majority of you, have not fired your whore angels. Now, this is important, just as important as doing an ego death ceremony. You have to fire your whore angels. That's a big one, because a lot of people will bypass that, will confuse it as true angel guidance. And a good way to decipher that is if you start beginning to see these patterns of, well, I thought this was the right thing to do, but then it turns out not to be, right? And then it happens again. You're like, oh, well, I felt that I got, certain syncs and pings. And now this is important too, because the sophistication of the spiritual and the superego will actually manifest synchronistic events for you. Now, this is a big one because the master of all this was Lulu. Okay, when he was with mom, he would sit there and be so deep in it and literally be manifesting dings and things on the TV, and you're just like, what the fuck? And anyone who's in that will be convinced that it's in alignment because it's all being like synchronized and confirmed, and you're just like, what is going on? And that happens now, still to this day, when you have that sort of sophisticated, program behind you. It will use spiritual concepts as these magical synchronistic events to try to hijack you. Now, it may sound complicated. It's not. The reason it may sound complicated is because that's the spiritual ego. It wants to make things more confusing, more elaborate, more fractalized out. So as you continue to fractalize out, what are you doing? You're just going further and further from the one. It's coming up with more ideas. Good example is Buddhism. Fractalized out in so many different ways. And how about this? And how about that? And how about... When in actuality, it's so fucking simple.
Be love. It's not a title, Oh, my guru this, or I have black belt this, and I have this.
I have my Reiki certificate.
I am Grandmaster.
I'm a level 4 Reiki.
I am from the planet Zilofalache.
Sector 9, 4B, 3,
Starseed,
Alpha 1, 2, 4.
Mekashuka May. Fuck that.
I'll often see this on Facebook too, where they're like, they put a picture of themselves and be like, where am I from? What do you see? What galactic family do you see? Like, the ego program mind wants to attach to one specific thing. One race, one of this, one of that, one galactic star system. When the true reality of it all is you've been all of them. Holy shit. And that's why mom stopped telling people who their higher selves were, because all they were doing was attaching to it. They didn't want to let it go. They're like, oh, and how about that? And how about this? And now this resonates with me. Now, is this my twin flame? And is da-da-da-da? And it just goes into this whole, fantasy, right? Oh, I've done it now.
Yeah. Oh, I'm better.
I'm flying, Mom. I love you.
It was so interesting. Just before coming to mission, I was communicating with Mom because it was such a shit show to get to mission. And she's like, Jerry, I know who you are. Because Mom will share, Robin comes through, Saint Germain comes through. If you do something and she gets a glimpse of that energetic, she gets a download of your past lives. So she'll share it with you. And she never told me. Because it just never came up. Mm-hmm. And that's a great thing. Because it doesn't matter whether you're Palladian or Arcturian or fucking Shedjaw or whatever. It's, are you embodying your higher self? I wanted to read this article, The Fern and the Bamboo Story, just to give a glimpse, a perspective on what is happening between us and our brothers and sisters who are deeply asleep, still in the Matrix. One day, I decided to quit. I quit my job, my relationship, my spirituality. I wanted to quit my life. I went to the woods to have one last talk with God. God, I said, can you give me one good reason not to quit? Her answer surprised me. Look around, she said. Do you see the fern and the bamboo? Yes, I replied. When I planted the fern and the bamboo seeds, I took very good care of them. I gave them light. I gave them water. The fern quickly grew from the earth. Its brilliant green covered the floor, yet nothing came from the bamboo seed. But I did not quit on the bamboo. In the second year, the fern grew more vibrant and plentiful. And again, nothing came from the bamboo seed, but I did not quit on the bamboo. In year 3, there was still nothing from the bamboo seed. But I would not quit. The same was in year 4. Then in the 5th year, a tiny sprout emerged from the earth. Compared to the fern, it was seemingly small and insignificant. But just 6 months later, the bamboo rose to over 100 feet tall. It had spent 5 years growing roots. Those roots made it strong and gave it what it needed to survive. I would not give any of my creations a challenge it could not handle. Did you know, my child, that all this time you have been struggling, you have actually been growing roots? I would not quit on the bamboo. I will never quit on you. Don't compare yourself to others, she said. The bamboo had a different purpose than the fern. Yet they both make the forest beautiful. Your time will come, God said to me. You will rise high. How high should I rise? I asked. How high will the bamboo rise? She asked in return. As high as it can? I questioned. Yes, she said. Give me glory by rising as high as you can. I left the forest, realizing that God will never give up on me, and she will never give up on you. Never regret a day in your life. Good days give you happiness, bad days give you experiences. Both are essential to life. Serenity isn't freedom from the storm, but peace within the storm. If there is a challenge that you're facing now, know for sure that you have the capacity to handle it. All the time you've spent dealing with your challenges and struggles, you've actually been growing roots like the bamboo tree. Never quit. Don't compare your results with others. Like the bamboo and the fern are so different, and each of them serving a different purpose, your time will come. You will shoot up and high as well. Be patient and keep working on yourself, and I'm sure as long as you don't quit, you will shoot up one day like the bamboo tree. Don't worry, your time will come. Love you. We're all going home. We're all going home. We're going to make it. And that journey is unique to each and one of you.
Yeah, one of the cards I pulled in the last couple places we've been, and it was coming in really, really strong, is the unbridled compassion. So in other words, where you feel you have shown enough compassion for your brothers and sisters, you dig a little deeper. You go a little further. Right when you thought you've reached your end's limit as far as your compassion goes, that's when you go deeper. That's when you recognize that I'm going beyond what my capacity is to be compassionate. I'm going further. I'm no longer holding on to any of the program, and I understand that in these moments, unbridled compassion is what is required. There's no other way around it. Why? Because we are all on our own separate, unique, beautiful paths. And to sit here and judge or chastise somebody because they're triggering you or because they're not on the same path or pace or acceleration as you, you're just feeding into the same bullshit ass program. You have to find a level of unbridled compassion and know that no matter what, it's already been done. Love has already won. Victory to the light is already done. So why worry? Why trip? Why throw a hissy fit when someone is not on the same level as you? Why are you comparing yourself like that? Why haven't you reached a level of maturity where you can see everyone as a wounded child? When you can see that in your brothers and sisters, I'm telling you, the unbridled compassion is easy. If you have those limitations on yourself, guess what? You're in it. Only the ego sets those fucking limitations. Only the ego will put down these requirements in order for you to be good enough. Oh, well, you get what I'm saying. And I just want to emphasize how important and how beautiful it's been to tap into the unbridled compassion. Because suddenly, it's not as challenging. It's not as difficult. You find new ways of helping each other out because you're like, man, we're all fucked. We're all fucked. So no one's better than anyone. Yes, are we all at different paces and different levels? Of course, that's the beauty of creation. If we were all the same, it'd be boring as fuck. So enjoy our differences. Enjoy the fact that we're all on a different pace, on a different level. That's how we all bring and create this beautiful tapestry of our spiritual evolution. And it should be uniquely different for everyone. Because then you can share. I know we say this a lot in our sessions is, guess what? Part of your next process is to go live, is to create a podcast, a vlog, share your experiences. Why? Because Jerry and I can't reach those people. Only you can. You have access to people that we could never, ever access. Because it's not in our contract. It's in yours. So how much longer do you want to sit and watch this go down and complain about it's not happening fast enough? What's going on? What do these energies really look like? It looks like your expansion. It looks like you going live and doing things that make you uncomfortable. What do these energies feel like? Vulnerability, sharing your story, putting yourself out there. We can't emphasize it enough. Why? Because you all ain't doing it. You'll come here and watch the live stream, but you ain't doing nothing about it. You just want to sit here, drink your coffee, and be like, I did my work. Shoot, I got my spiritual fill. Let me go to work. Let me go order myself some sushi. I got a movie coming on tonight. I did enough. I'll watch tomorrow. No! It's not enough!
It hurts. Yeah, I mean, some of these beautiful beings are very much have good intentions in their heart.
Of course.
And so,
we love you.
You know, at the beginning of the year, I would have had a session with this beautiful being, and she had another session, and I'm like, your angels are paying you to do a live. She's like, I know. And then it's like, how many months since we last spoke? And so she felt bad. I said, listen, it's not linear. We start afresh. Today, in this present moment of now, you go. Don't beat yourself up for the months that you didn't go live. Mm-hmm. Fuck that. Move along. Be greater and grander. Mom says, are you being your greatest, grandest version? Mm-hmm. Serving love in this present moment. Yes or no? If it's a no, fucking do something about it.
I'm trying.
Trying ain't gonna cut it. That word is whore. Fucking, I'll try and call you tomorrow.
Try is a back door to the ego program mind to instill the major half-ass programming.
So is maybe, perhaps, might. I may do it. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's half-ass committing.
Yeah, I may give myself a reason to get out. You know, it's like, come on.
Okay, so some brilliant comments. Asher says that's exactly what we were told happiness is as an adult. Fantasy, your romance. Mm-hmm. The ability to manipulate your reality for reverence of the mind. To release endorphins for no more than a short-lasted euphoric high. It creates addiction and that instant gratification desire. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Bobby says comparison is a thief of joy, and we know it. She says, we feel in our hearts when it's the moment to step up. 3D is overwhelming. I talk to Mom all day, every day. She's got us. Breathe through the anxiety when it comes. Cut cords and say, fuck you, ego. I'm a royal fucking angel having a human experience.
Woo!
Absolutely. That's where the badass comes in. That's where your rainbow balls come in. Like, fuck you, no. Mm-hmm. That's what I do with my thoughts. Like, cutting cords, return to fucking sender. It ain't mine. So I just wanted to share yesterday was a very special day. Every day is special, but this one particularly because I have not had communication with my Earth sister for a long moment. There's stuff under the bridge there, and although we love each other, we just can't go there. It's like a never-ending but we had time, we had moments to just like pull back and surrender to the differences. So
I was gonna say that's why I can't mention Trump to my mom. Like, we'll love each other, but the minute I say the T word,
So anyway, it was interesting because like I changed my Facebook profile and it says Jezza Pie, and she's like Jezza Pie ? And how I came up with that Okay, it's to do with the trolls, okay? Like, I changed my picture, I changed my name. You all know that. But she was questioning it. I'm like, the only being who has ever called me Jezza was her. And that was how it was inspired. But she probably didn't know about the pi bit. But the pi bit has come about from Telegram. So anyway, we start this conversation, and she says, I had a dream about Neil, and you were in the dream. And it was quite a weird dream. But then I said, yesterday I missed you and I cried. I shared this on stream, didn't I? Maybe not. And she says, that's funny. I felt you too.
Mm-hmm.
The same time. So the same time she had the dream, felt me, I was feeling her. And I said, huh. She's like, why is that? Do you have many days like that? And I said, it's called a connection. and like I proceeded to give her like a energy 101 lesson on connection. She says, that makes sense. She says, what's life like being on mission? I'm like, here we go. I said, how about you watch the live stream? We share. She's like, no thanks, I'll pass. So that's the point where it's like, cut cords. We hit a certain point in our connection where we just don't go there because the consciousness, that it's like oil and water, it just won't meet. Mm-hmm. Not at this point. Maybe later.
Should we show them that video?
Yeah.
Chance this massive misstep in Afghanistan gets in the way of Biden's economic agenda getting through. Do you think now people
Well, I
will
think
think
he's
twice
lost that
about voting for
credibility.
this?
Yeah, there is a chance because I think he's lost such credibility that. But he's not running government anyway. They have a cabal that runs government, a group of people.
Who's
He's not
running it?
running government.
Who's running it, Mr.
I
President?
don't want
Who
to.
do you think is in charge?
I don't want to say right now. But they use their prosecutors to get people. They prosecute people, and yet the son doesn't get prosecuted. And you take a look at what he's done. How
What
about
that?
in Texas anyway? They have a cabal that runs government, a group of people.
Who's
He's not running
running it?
government.
Who's running it, Mr. President?
Oh, snap.
This was just a couple days ago, and you know, you guys are watching the grandest movie in all of creation. I mean, this is such a story. I mean, the fact that Fox News has flipped for the light, I mean, I never would have thought that was going on. And to have Trump basically call it out on national television that Biden's the cabal and it's all bad. And it's being orchestrated in such a way. And this is how mom works, is that first she covers all the caves, make sure they have no way to escape, and then she gaslights the gaslighters. Like, she takes it so far, she's like, She's making the cabal basically just show themselves. You know, they can't hide anymore. They can't go into these caves. They can't mind manipulate anymore because humanity's waking up and they're seeing the shit show for what it is. My God, you had Biden falling asleep talking to the president of Israel. Like, it's so ridiculous that even the sleepiest sleepers are going to look at Biden and be like, that's not presidential. You know?
But it's like, when we're talking about the 7-year-olds, okay? Imagine like a Scottish village, very quiet, very farm-oriented. They turn on the TV, they watch BBC. Bullshit, more bullshit. They're not gonna see the stuff. They're not looking for the stuff. They're happy where their retirement is at. They go to their little church on a Sunday. They go and buy the paper, sometimes walk, sometimes drive around the corner. So those are the beings that we are kind of waiting for, if you know what I mean. Like, how do you wake them up? By you being in the present moment of now.
We drew a card for you all.
From the Mama's beautiful Mother of All Creation Daily Discipline deck.
Daily Disciplines deck. This is a great one as to be gifted for the sheeple people. You know, they get bored, they don't know what to do, they don't know how to get themselves out of it. Get them this deck. The Daily Disciplines Deck by Mother of All Creation, 5dfulldisclosure.org. Present moment of now. True reality is a present moment of now experience which gives you vision, signs, dreams, inspiration, and creativity, which guides you along true reality daydream. Throw out fantasy. Step home into the present moment of now. True reality. Love. Mother of All Creation, Master Saint Germain, and Master Robin Williams. Hoorah.
Awesome. Bobby says, I had to put on NBC to see coverage of the storm where my friends were, and it made me physically ill. The propaganda is nasty.
Mm-hmm.
So we thank you all. We still have the 50% off sale on all sessions.
10 more days, guys. Gift them, book them. Just don't fruit them? No. Loop them? Never mind. I don't know where I was going with that.
Just don't scoop them.
Just don't poop them.
Yeah, that's a good one. Poo! Shit! Fuck! Cunt! Just throwing it out there.
For what?
Triggers!
I'm triggered.
Okay, they're just
What?
words.
No,
They're-
it's whore.
No, they're just words, love.
Sure. This is
Angels-
no. I'm gonna point out this other sophistication
Oh, okay.
of
Here
the
we
spiritual
go.
superego. To sit here and say they're just words is blasphemous. Okay, they call it spelling for a reason. It's broadcasting for a reason. Everything you say matters. Okay, and you've done this a couple times. Okay, words matter, and I know I've seen it where she'll be like, and Lulu, dude, I'm like, you are casting a spell right now by putting in, you're seeding that into the consciousness of humanity.
To purposely trigger someone is Lulu energy.
Okay,
Mom
thank
never
you.
purposely triggers anyone.
Okay, thank you for that.
And it's not cool, and it's like you have to look at she's taking it like a champ, thank God.
Get him, Jerry.
But she will be a vessel for this stuff, and you have to be heartful. Because words are precise. They don't give me this words don't matter. Because they do. Why do you think what happens every time you have the TV on? I'm going blurry right now.
He feels physically ill.
I'm getting sick. Because we cannot give the power to anyone who wants to put out any information that is going to keep us in a lower vibrational state. Right? Who are we feeding? Who do you serve?
Mom.
It's not a joke. Anyway, she's a champ. We got
But
this.
see, you gotta look at that. Lilith, I'm transforming. Every single feminine is transforming Lilith. Watch out.
But you see, right, how simple it is, how like it could just be like, oh no, don't matter.
I could have argued. I could have defended ego.
And it would have showed itself more.
Right.
Just like true reality. You can't hide humanity.
I know my shit, and I'm in it, so transforming.
It was
all
getting
Lilith.
off. It was like, cunt! I'm triggering you. Oh God.
It's gross. It's gross.
Anyhow, feel into that humanity. Feel into all of that. We love you.
We're very blessed. Thank you for the call out. It's been a wonderful 1 hour. Okay? Just saying.
Woo!
Put yourself. It ain't personal. That's not who I am. My essence
There
is
you go.
grander than that. Thank
Thank you.
We will be back tomorrow morning.
We love you all.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Na 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 na. Na 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 na.
Hey,
Hey, hey, love is one and joy reigns. Na 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 na.
Joy.
Na 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 na.
Joy reigns.
Hey, hey, hey. Love has won. We love you all. Stop a messing. Count your blessings. And book those mother loving sessions.
Transform today.